important things to handle today. So happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to our Zoom. Good to see so many of you here. This is probably, and I say this a lot, I know, but there is so much happening in Zinzino. And when we talk about momentum, that's where we're at right now. And I know that our founder who's coming on here is going to say, you ain't seen nothing yet. But right now, we are breaking records in Zinzino in the growth. Well, of course, that's because we have products that work, that are making a difference for health, and we can test it. You don't have to guess it. So, of course, there is going to be a worldwide revolution when people are understanding what Zinzino is really doing and the goals that they have. This year, we're going to get up to helping 100 or 1 million people into balance. And by 2050, we're going to get up to 100 million into balance. So I'm excited about where we are. And actually, if you look at all of 2025, today is probably one of our most important days. It's the last day of the month of April. And we have a month next month where we are going to be having a 200% ECB month, our ECB X month. So however you want to call it, where you're getting 3 times the credits coming in. So we know May is going to be a powerful, huge, incredible month. So we have today the guy who we actually, none of us would be here without. He founded this company and he has such an incredible vision. He's such a visionary. He's always thinking ahead of what anybody else is thinking. And he is got an exact plan of how we're going to help so many people with our Zinzino products and the different things and the ways of getting it done. So I know he's been doing the action required to help us grow, but what should we be doing? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's welcome him on here, the founder of Zinzino and 5-star global president, Mr. Orjan Saele. Hello, Orjan.
Thank you so much for having me here, Carla. Exciting to be here.
You're so Scandinavian. Orjan, I just love you. Yeah, so excited to be here. Orjan, I'm excited for where we're going with this. And remember, I can do that because I'm American, so I can have all that extra energy. But Orjan, we're coming into May, and we need to finish the month strong, and we need to know exactly what people need to do if we're going to be growing to where we're at, what that really could mean for people. Now, could you maybe just say a little bit about your vision of where you see Zinzino going and why?
Well, I think for most, the vision is clear. We have been repeating it a lot of times. And I do think it's important to repeat the vision multiple times. I think the clearer the vision is, the more likely you are to hit it. And we're going to, in the next few years, we're going to be a $1 billion company, and that means that by 2030, I think that we'll hit that $1 billion in sales annually, which kind of puts you up where you are a little bit of a significance in the world when it comes to company size. So we come from the profession of network marketing. There is some of you have been in companies before, and they talk like they're this huge thing when they're really not. It hasn't anything to do with Scandinavia, but it is a little bit to do with the kind of culture which we try to create in Zinzino, where we want to be real. So real is that before you do $1 billion a year in sales, no one in the real world really knows about you. No one notices you. You can be noticed locally. You can win awards. You can, if you sign up to win awards, you win more awards. But when you get to $1 billion, you get real recognition because you become a select few in each country that you are represented in, which you've done something most haven't done. Then from there, we really have to speed up. So as soon as we hit 1 billion, we really got to speed up because our ambition in the next decade after that is to grow a lot more. We actually set a crazy goal many years ago about hitting 20 million customers by 2035. And that would probably take us to somewhere between 5 and 8 billion in size. So obviously what you understand by that is that if we hit 1 billion by 2030, we're a bit behind. So we got to really speed up. And then by 2050, we're going to hit 100 million customers and 40 billion, which we don't really need to speed up to hit. So that's the easy target. It's the one in between that becomes a little bit more challenging. Now, if we track back a little bit and we look at first quarter, so January, February, March this year, we did 66% growth, I think, in the group that we announced to the stock market. Now, if we kept that kind of growth, we'd already be doing, I think it was, what was it, 15 billion or whatever it was by 2036. So then we're way on target. We have the speed that we need. So it is possible to get this huge success within the time frame that we've set. But we'll also be realistic and happy that if we hit it a little bit later, it's still going to be okay because the main thing is the main thing. That's 2050 to hit 100 million customers. You also said why. Why will we be able to hit these kind of numbers? And I mean, it's a big question. And I think that if I'm gonna make it very simple, it's because of what drives the world forward. So right now, hot topics would be AI, artificial intelligence, and various artificial intelligence hitting. And I think that even without artificial intelligence, what we aim for would be completely possible. We set the goals before we actually thought anything about AI. I mean, if we go back to 2010, AI wasn't a really hot topic. 2005, AI wasn't that topic at all. It was like more, do I have cell service on the next hilltop? That was the topic back then. So AI will do so many changes so quickly. And one of the things that we can be sure about, so let me make the premise before I say what we're going to be sure about. So within 18 months, AI is expected to be as smart as the smartest human being in any one area. So if you go into math, AI is going to beat the smartest mathematician in the world. If you go into medicine, AI is going to beat the smartest doctor in the world. If you go into product formulation, this is hard. I'm part of the product team in Zinzino. AI is going to beat the smartest product formulation person, the scientist in the world. AI is going to beat the smartest in any one single area in the world. So it's just going to be smarter than us. That's 18 months from now. Then about 6 years from now, it's going to be smarter than all the humans on the planet collectively on any one subject. Now, if you would then say to the AI, and this is just like, this is based on my ideas, and I think you will agree with me. If you would say to the AI, even today, should I take oil A? I don't know really what's in it. I don't know really what it's doing. I don't know really how much I should take. But should I take product A as my omega supplement where I'm just guessing that I'm getting the result my body needs? Or should I take product B? It's a protocol. They know exactly what my score is. They give me dosage based on my score and based on my weight. And then they prove to me that the product is working 4 months later or not. And the price difference is more or less no price difference. Which product should I choose? Now, anybody can get the answer even today. We don't even need AI for it. Every single time we should choose product B because it's a reliable way of getting the result. Now, what AI will do is that it will get this message out to everyone. Because we need to do one test at a time. We need to meet the people for them to understand that we've got this. Because if you go on Google and you search omega-3 today, the omega-3 advertising that is coming up, which is, by the way, millions and millions and millions of citations for omega-3. You can start reading about omega-3 today and you won't finish before you die, okay? That's how much information you can find on Google on omega-3. But during all of this information, it's less than a couple of percentages that is related to stop guessing, start testing. So it's so hard to find the true information. If you go through all the people on Instagram that talks about omega-3, you can watch videos from now until when you die. And that's even if you take the oil when you live a long time. And hardly any one of them will say, stop guessing, start testing. What AI will do is that it will sort through all of that information, take away the 99% that is crap, that has no value, and leave you with a 1% of relevant information, because that's what an intelligence does. And that's going to accelerate our message in the next months and years dramatically to where everyone wants to be testing and no one wants to be guessing. And that's why there is a very big shot on that our vision for 2035 becomes reality with 20 million customers. And 100 million, I feel that that's nearly a walkover. It's just going to happen. Nothing can stop it.
I love that. Okay, so what does that mean for partners that are already a partner now, or for people that become a partner uh, in this next upcoming time? What is the difference for them?
It means that you can make an insane amount of money in a much shorter time than anybody that joined before you. And you can
Okay,
help all of
okay.
your friends a lot quicker. That's what it means in reality. It means that you're up on a time that is really unique, where the consensus of what is the future of nutrition will be formed to what you're already doing. Okay, so I'm not saying that consensus is there yet, but it will be formed into what we're already doing. So we're just way ahead of the curve. We're the innovators. We're the ones walking around with an iPhone when the other ones are having a Walkman in their ears. I mean, a Walkman was cool when that was the hottest stuff that you could have. But if you find somebody walking around with a Walkman today, you look like an idiot, you know? I mean, why do you have a Walkman and you're running your cassette tapes and you don't have selection and choices? So literally in the nutritional world, we've got billions of people or hundreds of millions of people that have the Walkman approach while we're already having the iPhone 16. And the obvious answer is that everyone will be like you pretty soon.
Okay, so this potential is absolutely huge. I like the feeling of when we hit 100 million that we've really helped make a difference with 100 million people, because I know each and every one of those is a story, and the stories we hear about when people are getting changed, it's like a life-changing thing. So we're out there helping a lot of people, and we can actually create insane amount of money by doing so. So Orjan, we all want to know exactly what these record-breaking actions, what can we be doing right here now today, or for maybe somebody who's just getting started. There's a lot of new partners that started this last month. What should we be doing right here and now to get the bigger part of the pie?
Yeah, so I think first, we're at the end of April, do whatever you can do to get the ECBX secured. So that's the first step. If you don't know what ECBX is, that's totally okay. Call whoever is above you in the structure that knows it, and they'll explain it to you. But it's basically a way to hit a new rank quicker and make a little bit more money based on hitting a new rank quicker. So it's just more commissions for the same work in May versus what it is in April. And there is a qualifier in April. So hit the ECBX, get all your team members to hit the ECBX by the end of the evening. Then May starts, and we want to create record-breaking growth. That's what everyone wants. We want the growth. We want to go up one or two ranks. We want to achieve some targets that we've set. All the new ones want to hit all the fast start bonuses. So we want a record growth month for the company. I mean, anybody knows that it's fun when we grow. Now, before we close May with record-breaking growth, and we have that big recognition celebration, which we usually have in the beginning of June, we need the actions, because growth comes out of the actions that we take. Now, there is some actions that are obvious, and then there is some actions that are more hidden into this. So the obvious actions would be the following. So, and this goes both on a personal level and on a team level. So the obvious actions is, so let's review our contact list, either on social media or in your phone or on a piece of paper. If you're 49 years and 10 months, you still maybe use a piece of paper. I do still. I'm trying to get to that new world, but I still like a pen and a paper because it gives me clarity. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's because I was brought up that way. So whatever technique works better for you, you got to have a contact list. You got to clarify who will be my personal contacts. And then this same action happens to be for every one of your team members and your customers that would like to bring in customers as well. Then number two is about contacting. So we gotta having the people on the list is not enough. They will not contact you yet. AI might in the future convince them to contact you when they find your material, okay? But there will be the AI of everyone else competing, so they still probably won't find you, okay? So you got to find them. So that's the action of contacting, and contacting is effectively done when we do it in private. So a group contact, so you making a post online will not give you any people calling you. So you might as well not do it, because it will actually give you less of a response when you eventually go and contact people. So don't do that. So you want to have, and I've got always somebody they want to buy an ad and so on, and they have this new influencer that can bring them all of these. Usually it just doesn't work that way. I'm not saying that you can do zero business that way, but out of all the money I made in this profession, basically zero comes from that for me, and for 99.999% of other people. So you want to contact people, private message is what works for a lot of people. And then pick up the phone is what works for other people. So use one of those two methods of contacting. Then number three, we do a presentation. I like to have the first presentation being a personal meeting. You could choose the first presentation to be a video, also works. There's plenty of people that works with that. And the first presentation could also be a group meeting. It changes the dynamic a little bit if the first presentation is a group meeting. So there is a little bit different approach to it than what I'm explaining now. I'll come back and explain that. But you need a first meeting. So let's say that it's a personal meeting or a video. Then that brings you to a second follow-up step, which is usually a group meeting. And then that brings you to a third follow-up step, which is what I call a decision meeting, which means that you go step one, step two, step three to make the decision made. Now, we will try to do a decision after the first step. If you invite people to a group meeting, you have to have a decision meeting right after it to actually make the decision and have the sales come true. If your first meeting is a group meeting, normally you get to have a meeting just after and then a decision meeting just after that. Why do I teach 3 meetings? Well, because my experience is out of the people that signs up in a month, and I'm just having May as a focus. Sorry, I'm recovering from a cold and all of a sudden I got a cough here, but I'll work through this. But my experience is that in a month, if we get 3 touches with people, they're very likely to make the decision within those 3 contact points that we have. A lot of people that are new, you contact people, do the meeting, and then you're afraid of following up, or you follow up with a text message or a short phone call. That will then have you have a much sharper drop off in the beginning. So instead of signing up, what I rate as a normal sign up rate is 1 out of 3. So 3 people getting contacted, you sign up at least 1. Now, a lot of people have better rates than that. That's just my standard through 30 years. When on a good day, on a bad day, I end up getting that as long as I have 3 approaches with them. So if you do that, those actions, you're going to get a lot of signups very quickly. So if you have then, let's say, 20 people going in through the pipeline, you have them for a first meeting, second meeting, and a third meeting, you're going to end up having 7, 8 personal signups. And anybody in your team that does the same will have about 7, 8 personal signups. If we do that in a month, that's absolutely phenomenal. That's like that's crazy. That's insanity. I mean, Carla, if we had everyone here doing that in a month, this Zoom alone would outperform pretty much what the entire company, not quite, but 7 times, so not quite as much as the entire company, but I mean, we're a small group, couple of teams gathering together here, and we would outperform all of North America. We would be nearly even to Europe just by doing that, this team. Okay, so that's an amazing kind of action. Now, if that is happening and we then bring them to a team meeting, get them started, then even inside of the month, you can have these new people go for their entire fast start within inside of May as well. So I take action, I get my first sign up by, let's say, Saturday, and then that person is on a team meeting, they get started, they launch, they bring 20 meetings within May, they go through all of the fast starts just on their own contacts in a month. They have their first signups by Monday, Tuesday, so they might even have people that they signed up that go for all of their fast starts inside of May. See the ripple effect, the snowball is kind of like growing, and I don't know how many of you know about snowball. Some of you might live in Florida and never seen snow, but I come from Norway, so we have this idea of, but it's butterfly effect on the water. If you live on in Florida, each ring becomes a lot much reaching than what the first ring was. So when you throw a pebble in the water, that happens. I probably didn't have to explain that. It's self-explanatory. But anyways, so this is like the obvious actions that needs to be taken. This is not where anything changes at any point of time, but the more of these actions we take, the more result we are going to bring out. Now, how do we get there? That's the big question. And that's the not so obvious actions. because these are the obvious actions. They're listed out in my own book, 90 Days to Win. You will find them in the Express Start. They're listed out in the Express Start. So everything is here between this. You find everything that you need to know to be able to take these actions. And your upline team will support you in the actions as well to make sure that you get a good closing percentage. As long as you're moving the people in, they're going to move with you to close them out of that, what we call the pipeline. Now, the actions that are more hidden, that is the difference between those that manage to do this and those that doesn't manage to do it yet. Let's put it in a positive way, is that we got to bring ourselves to a certain level of enthusiasm. So if we say I want record-breaking growth and I'm going to take these record-breaking actions, but then we have no enthusiasm going into the month of May, it's most likely not going to happen. So one of the things that I do for myself, and enthusiasm can somewhat be misunderstood. Okay, so let me be clear on that. So this is a form of enthusiasm. I'm excited. I'm like, yeah. That's a form of enthusiasm, okay? And most people interpret that as the only part of enthusiasm. And then they say, well, I don't know if I can be that enthusiastic, because they misunderstand enthusiasm to only be the physical form of enthusiasm. No, enthusiasm is much more than that. Enthusiasm is an inner state of rock solid belief. I would say enthusiasm is the state of feeling and being in love. So you see how that makes more sense to you now? Because if you feel and you are in love with what you're doing, so I'm using that expression, you feel love and you feel that you're in love with what we're doing, because the effect of what we're doing is so great. So you love the testing concept. You love bringing people in balance, and you truly just are filled with that, and you have peace with it, and you feel energy with it, and you are just powerful from that state. Now it's much easier to be enthusiastic, to act it out as well. So that's why a lot of the people that have that state also act it out. But it isn't less powerful if you're quiet, looking people in the eyes, and you're truly just 100% into the message that you're giving them. That's just as powerful as if you're acting it out. Are you catching this? So that's the state that we need to bring ourselves into. Now, on the first of the month, when you have a cool goal, you're going to do all the fast start bonuses, or you're silver this month, you're going to go executive. It's quite easy to feel this in the beginning of the month. At least as long as tomorrow, 1st of May, is a workers' holiday all over Scandinavia and all over Europe. So I don't know if you have that day in US. No, you don't have that day. You've got many other days like that. But that means that tonight is kind of a party night. In Europe, people will go everywhere because spring is coming to north of Europe. We already have summer in south of Europe. And it's like everyone has the day of. So as long as you keep the party quiet tonight, it'll be easy to feel the enthusiasm tomorrow. If you have too much of a party, you will struggle more, okay? But tomorrow is going to be easy to have the enthusiasm. Then if you have the enthusiasm, that's the first behind the scenes action or quiet action that you need to take. Then the second one is that enthusiasm will continue as long as you bring yourself up until speed. So you need a certain tempo. So if you're enthusiastically waking up tomorrow, you feel that I'm going to do this is going to happen, and you manage, even though it's a worker's day, it's a day off for everyone, to bring yourself up to speed tomorrow. So that means that you get started already tomorrow. Then on the second day, it's still going to be easy to have the enthusiasm. If you know, bring the second day up to speed so that you get results the second day as well. You keep the tempo. Then the third day, you're going to be able to do it. That's a weekend on the Saturday, and then comes the Sunday, and then comes the Monday. So then, really, the first tough day is going to be Monday because then everyone is back to reality. And that's when you got to work a little bit extra on keeping your enthusiasm so that we keep the tempo up. Now,
Okay, so can I just ask quick, Orjan, how important is it to be setting the different goals here for the month?
critical. Let me cover that just after the next. So the third sudden action or step is the system. Because if we manage to be enthusiastic, Carla, we manage to keep the tempo. So we have a high kind of takeoff into the month. So we're really like taking off into the new month. The tempo, the speed, the urgency is there. Then a bunch of new, sorry for bunching them together, but a lot of new people are going to join. Now, if there is no system, all of those new people are just going to be frustrated. So that's why the third, like undercover action for those that are going to have record-breaking months and record-breaking growth is that we got to have the system. You got to know what to do with the new people. You got to know where to plug them in. You got to be clear on the actions that they're going to take. And since it's a month with ECBX, you got to kind of like uh, instead of using the normal time on getting them into action, you got to kind of speed it up a little bit so they immediately get to take the actions. So now if those three is combined with the ones that are obvious, that's when you're going to get the records. And as Carla pointed out, how who is going to do this? Well, it's going to be the ones that have the goals. If you come into the new month and you are not clear on what you want to achieve, then you're going to kind of stumble along as you've done earlier months.
So what kind of goals could you say? I mean, there are people who are going to say, can I go 2 levels? Can I go 3 levels? What is the good goals to be setting compared to how much action you do?
Yeah, so I think that in an ECBX month, anyone brand new can go executive, okay? So executive is 3,000 credits. If we calculate it over to Ultimate Kit based on the 450 credits value, that's 6 to 7 people joining the business. If we take in and say that there is a good amount of customers joining for each new, you've got about 5 new people plus the customers joining to go executive from scratch. So most everyone, well, actually, everyone that sets aside the time can do that. You can actually do that on your own. You can sign up the 5 partners and then get the 4 customers on average with each one of them during the first month. And if there is any duplication, it actually becomes simple.
Okay, so how about for those that want to hit diamond? That's such a goal for so many. So if they already have had executive volume, could they do diamond this month?
100% for sure. Because if you already have executive volume, you would, if that enthusiasm is there, you would have 3 or 4 people. So, and enthusiasm, I did Ib Nielsen, one of Carla's friends from Denmark, which is the lead president in the company. We celebrated his presidency yesterday at the dinner at our home, and then we had a training this morning with the people that he invited for the dinner. And one of the things that I drew up was the enthusiasm curve. How much enthusiasm do we have on the month close? and then the week close and so on. And that's a curve that goes from we end the month about now, 8 o'clock in the evening, Norwegian time, or noon, Florida time. We end the month now. Whatever comes in, comes in. I'm not fighting for a rank. I don't have anybody in my team for I'm fighting for a rank together with the people in my team. Are you following me? So that's an enthusiasm curve. That means that we have a low enthusiasm. If you are willing to go and fight for your own rank or a title of somebody in your team until 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, then you're sacrificing, in Europe at least, an evening where you could go party and you can have a glass of wine or a few glasses of wine because there is no work tomorrow. If you're willing to go through midnight to make it happen, then your enthusiasm is in 100% for closing the month. And if you have multiple people that you go until midnight with, closing out the month, that means that you have a peak enthusiasm closing out the month. So if you have that peak enthusiasm with your team, you're already at the executive level. That means that you're going to have 3 or 4 or 5 people that wakes up tomorrow morning that says, oh, this month we're gonna hit the executive. I know it's a triple credits and we have got the double bonus. New executives that sponsors one person, well, they get 400 euros pay points in phone bonus instead of the regular 200 pay points. So that's through the roof. I'm gonna be the one. This is my month, and by October I'm gonna be diamond. So you have 3 or 4 of those starting out 1st of May. They sponsor a couple of people each, and you sponsor a couple of people, and then we duplicate that and we get a few fast starts in your team. You're going to be diamond and way beyond that. Now, if you don't already have that team, Carla, you got to create that team. And that's also still possible, but that means that you're going to build everything more from scratch. Meaning that you're sponsoring new people and it's putting the fast start of 4 months into 1 month. That is your diamond plan.
Loving it, loving it. Okay, Orjan, I just read Peter Demore, who we all love here. He wrote in the chat, he said, if you write down your goal, you have a 42% better chance of hitting your goal. So I'm going to challenge people, either if you're watching streaming this, then put it in the chat. If you are on live, if you are watching the recording, put it in. What's going to be your goal? Because 42% better chances. Go, go, go. Now, Orjan, there's a couple of things. So I know so many people, they set a goal and they are excited about it at the beginning of the month. Now, there's a certain pattern throughout the month also of when you're like halfway and when you're, and a lot of people there's certain times, and you mentioned it a little bit about when it feels like, oh, am I going to hit my goal? And it really is about that grit and not giving up and saying, keep going, keep going. The month isn't over. Can you tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, and I think it's important. So Monday, I mentioned Monday is the first time you might be challenged with your enthusiasm. It's not going as fast as you want it to. Okay. So what we do then when we feel that challenge? Well, one is, like you said, you got to sometimes push it through. If you have your calendar booked already on Monday, you'll be safe. If it's calendar booked on Tuesday, you're going to be safe. But now, if that inner fire is a little bit lower, then your eyes is talking a little bit less to people, which means that the closing rate is just going to diminish a little bit. So instead of having 3 meetings in a day and always getting a sign up, you're now doing your full-time job, you're doing 3 meetings and you're not getting a sign up. Okay, so now you're frustrated, okay? And that's where you got to work on the inner game again. So by Tuesday morning, if you're not feeling enthusiastic, you got to then build the inner you again. And that's where the acting it out actually helps. So if I'm coming into my office and I'm not feeling the enthusiasm. I don't have that inner fire. I don't feel like having, and I usually have 8 or 9 meetings a day, okay? So that's every day out of my life, 8 or 9 meetings, different kinds of meetings. If it's a busy day, it's more than that. And I don't feel the fire. Then sometimes I gotta act like I have it. And that's when you will see me sometimes like I'm pumping myself up as much as I'm pumping everyone else up. But that's a simple technique that you use, that motion comes before the emotion. So you're building up your emotion again because you need to have that inner, I'm going to make it. I feel that this is an amazing thing. I'm going to make it happen with my team. I'm doing it for multiple reasons. One is we got to get everyone in the world in balance. And the other one is that we got to rank advance and do the promotions that we have and so on. But when you act before, then it's going to be easier to help your emotions going. So then remember that the Tuesday, Wednesday, if you want to be enthusiastic, then start act enthusiastic. So you then act it out, get in front of the mirror, you speak to yourself like you're enthusiastic. But at the same time as you act it out and you then drive through the meetings that day, you also got to build on the inside. So it's going back to looking at, okay, so I have a goal of becoming executive, or I have a goal of becoming diamond, or I have a goal of becoming A team, or I have a goal of becoming director. And we, like, when you get to the end of May, there will probably be 25, 30 new directors in Zinzino, okay? So lots of people will probably hit 100 diamonds in May. So lots of people are going to hit it. Now, you turn back, I have my dream board here. So when you are losing the short term, I'm feeling amazing game, you got to go to your long term why. So you turn to your dream board, and I look at my dream board and I can see my family, I can see my kids. So one of the reasons why I want to change the world, change the planet, is for my kids, the things that I leave for them. But another reason is for the impact for my career. Another reason is for the fun stuff that I'm doing. So some of those perks that I want. So if you on your dream board have things that you want, that's the long term. So if you hit executive in May, and then next May, so 1 year from now, you hit platinum. Then 1 year from now, so 2027, you hit diamond. Then 1 year after that, you hit director, 28. 29, you hit crown. 30, you hit royal crown. 31, you hit black crown. 32, you hit ambassador. 33, royal ambassador. 34, black ambassador. And 35, you hit president. So on your dream board, you've painted out, when I make 50 or 60,000 or 70,000 a month, this is my lifestyle. And I can do that by ranking up 1 time per year the next 10 years, together with the company, as the world is changing, when everyone is going to go from testing to everyone is going, and so we go from guessing to everyone is going to be testing. It's going to be the 10 most radical growth year in the history when it comes to health. It's going to be radical for Zinzino. Zinzino is going to 20 million customers. If all I can do is to rank up once every May in that period of time, I'm going to be a president. And that's why I'm feeling enthusiastic today, because now you build a certainty that the long-term uh, uh, goal, the long-term reward is worth the short-term pain. In fact, the long-term reward is so high that you'll take 10 no's the next 2 days without any problem to get the next yes, so that you get closer to that executive. And as soon as you have that feeling inside of you, you're not going to get 10 no's in a row. You're going to get 2 meetings, and then you'll have your next ultimate kid. And you go, what did I struggle with the last 2 days? Why did I mess up my life with not feeling good instead of feeling this good? So if you manage to have the short term for the month, bring your enthusiasm up every morning, keep the tempo every day, and then whenever you lose that game, You go and watch your dream board and you build up a plan for 5 years, 10 years to where you radically change your life. You're going to get the feeling back. You systemize that together with your upline so all the new people are taken care of. There's nothing that can really stop you from being one of those new diamonds in May.
Absolutely perfect. I think by all of the comments just that I was reading, with all the new titles that are coming, Orjan, record-breaking month is going to be happening for sure. Actually, I knew that before the call started. It's going to be a record-breaking month no matter what we're doing. But for those that are on the call or watching the call, I hope today's call is showing them that they can have any piece of the pie they want, whether it's in May or long term. But we have our hands on something powerful. We just need to do the action.
And
Orjan?
the key to this is that the record-breaking growth is given to every individual that does the record-breaking actions. The obvious ones is ones in the system. Make the list, book the meeting, do the meeting, follow up on the meeting, get them started. And then the less obvious actions is bring yourself to being enthusiastic on the inside and the outside. Speed up. Make sure that you keep the pace and implement the system. Then there is nothing that's going to stop you from being one of those that we award with a new rank, given any rank, if it's bronze or A team or X team or executive, doesn't really matter, because if you rank up once a year, even if it was bronze in May, it's worth it, because the difference between bronze and executive in May, if you rank up once a year, is just 4 more years, and you're going to be a president anyways. So there is nothing that can stop you from that if you do it once a year.
Powerful. I love it. What a way to end this call. So I'm going to challenge everybody. We're going to unmute everybody. I'd love to hear what your goal is for May. So see you next week. Thank you, Orjan, for taking the time to be on and giving us an exact plan for what you can do to make May your best record-breaking month. I'll let you go, everybody. Thanks
Brown
for
in
coming.
May. Thank you,
Much
Orjan.
diamond.
Thank
you,
guys.
Diamond.
Thank you.
Hey, here we go.
Diamond.
Hey.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
Orjan.
you.
Fantastic life
Thank
change.
you.